Welcome, I'm Sayer and this is Artisan Heirloom Foods, and today I want to talk about my beans. So if you've been following my videos, you'll know that I have raised beds. I went a few years without gardening. Last year I spent the entire year cleaning up my garden and reconditioning all my beds. Well, I planted corn and beans. These are Barletto beans together because they're part of the Three Sisters. And I wanted to show you the comparison between all of my beans that I have growing, and to show you what they look like. And I just want to I'm having problems this year growing. This is my first year back, and I'm having problems with growing my vegetables. So let's take a look at these beans. Now, as you can see, I've got beans. There are beans. That's a pretty one. They're small beans on, these, but look at I want you to take a look. Look, this is the leaves, okay? And I'm gonna show you, I planted beans in different beds at different times. And I wanna show you, these are the oldest beans. Here's some beans here. So they're producing beans. I've never grown this type of bean before. This is called a Barletto. So it's an heirloom variety. And this is the oldest bed. This was the bed that I planted first. So just want to show you, I got a lot of bug damage here, but they're growing beans. I mean, there's one big giant one back there. So this is bed one, I'm gonna call for right now. And this is what the beans look like in the bed. So let me take you over to my second garden bed that I planted beans and corn in. The corn that's in this bed is called gold corn. And as you can see, I've got two of them that have already starting to sprout. I don't have any. I have one corn right here. So it's producing a corn. This one's starting to come up. So this will be my first harvest, but I just want to concentrate on the beans. So those are the beans. And let's go over and look at bed number 2. So here we are in what we're gonna call bed number 2. And what's growing in this bed is Japanese black corn as well as cattle beans. Now these are different beans than the first bed, which are Barletto beans. But let me show you what's going on. So most of my beans look like this in this bed. See how small and stunted they look? This one actually has some really nice foliage on it. So does this one. But you can see through the bed the beans and that. Now I have one bean over here that looks gorgeous. Now this was planted probably a month and a half, about a month later. So this was planted, let's say it was towards the end of April. It's now the middle of June, and this is what I've got. And so this bean here looks really good, but look at this other little bean next to it. So this is my results in this bed. My corn, I don't know, my corn looks kind of stunted. Okay, so now let me take you to another bed of beans that I planted right after these beans and show you what they all look like. Okay, so now we're standing outside the gated garden, the fenced-in garden, and we're outside at my burn pile. Now, if you've watched my videos, my previous videos, you'll recall that this was a huge 12 to 15 foot pile of weeds and trees and that we had cut down, or we had gathered up all the parts that had fallen. And what we did was we burnt this all down. Well, right after burning it down, I decided to do an experiment, which was plant some cattle beans here. And all I did was I placed a little bit of garden soil over the ashes that were on the ground, and I just planted them. I watered them for a couple of days until they came up out of the ground, and then I've stopped watering them. These get 0 water. I do not water these at all. If it rains, it rains. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But look at the growth that I've gotten of these cattle beans versus the cattle beans that I had planted within a week or two of apart from each other. These ones, the leaves are gigantic. They do have, you know, insect marks on them, but just look at how large they are, and that they're just absolutely large. They're very green, they're beautiful, and this is with no compost or cow manure, nothing like that. All I did was put just a little bit of garden soil, which you can see here, on the ground, just to cover up the ashes, and I didn't want to plant with it, you know, right into the ashes. So this is what they look like. Now you see the difference in that they're growing like weeds. So now let me take you to my last bed, which I just planted not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and show you what those beans look like. So this is, as you can see, it's completely crammed full of all kinds of stuff. This was my radish bed. This was one of 2 radish beds that I had planted over 2 months ago, and my radishes never produced any radishes, and I'll show you an example of what it's producing. But they are flowering. As you can see, there's some flowering ones, the pink and white flowers there. Those are all radishes in that. Here's some more right here and that. So this is my radish bed. So what I decided to do was plant corn as well as barletto beans. And this has been about 2 weeks. And I want to show you, as you can see, I've got corn coming up. Next to it, there's a barletto bean. But look at how these beans look versus my other bed of barletto beans. Now these are the same, with the exception of the radishes. This is basically the same. This is gold corn and barletto beans. But let me show you the radishes because this has been kind of, I don't understand what's going on. But look, this is what I'm getting. Look at that. That one forked into 2. But look at this radish. It hasn't done anything. And that radish has been there for 2 months. There's another radish. Been there for 2 months. And I'm not getting anything. There's a bunch of baby radishes. I mean, look, there's baby radish plants, little tiny ones. They're not growing. Nothing's growing. I'm just getting foliage. And then, like I said, I decided to plant corn and beans in here because I've got to get something out of my garden. All I'm doing is growing. I'm not growing anything. I'm not getting anything. So this is the dilemma that I'm having right now this year. I don't think I'm going to get anything out of my garden. The only thing that I've harvested so far, besides some herbs, which are growing like weeds, is asparagus. And I've stopped harvesting my asparagus because, you know, it was, you know, you only have like a 8-week window to harvest it all, and then you got to let it grow up and go to seed. So there's my asparagus bed there, and then over there, there's my other asparagus bed. But the problem that I'm having is I'm not getting anything to grow. I mean, look at that radish. That's a huge radish. I mean, that's a lot of radish there, but look, there's no radish at all. I got all kinds of baby ones. And like I said, these have been here for over 2 months. And that, so I don't know if it's the heat. I don't know if it's the mixture of compost and manure that I used. I have no idea. I thought maybe I was over watering them. I'm completely, I have no idea what's going on. And I never had this kind of problem before in the past. In the past, whatever I threw in the ground just popped up and grew like a weed. But this year, being my first year back after several of not gardening, and that, it seems that I'm just not getting anything. So I wanted to share this with you. If you have any suggestions or comments to why this might be happening, like I said, I thought I was over watering. I stopped watering every day, and now I water maybe like twice a week. I did notice a growth spurt when I stopped watering, but I have this example all over my garden where I planted vegetables, and I'm just not getting anything out of it. I don't know if if the compost and manure I'm using is too rich in nitrogen. I have no idea what's going on. So anyway, like I said, leave a comment. If you like this video, hit that like. Don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't already, hit that like or hit that bell to get notifications of my newer videos. And until my next video, you all take care. Happy gardening. I hope this year is far more successful for you than it is for me so far. And we'll catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.